Thank you, Jesse. I think that's a very good start to this conversation. I think when I started doing this, first of all, I had to Google what Gen Z was, which maybe shows that I'm a little older than we think. But I think this is really a panel where we're going to talk about how there is a changing face of what travel means, what that means in the region, how we bring family, experience, and hospitality together in a new way. So it's a pleasure to introduce Greg Lanter, the Deputy Group CEO of Club Med. So Greg, I think this is a fantastic following from Sofitel. Club Med, like Sofitel, has such a long history and a long legacy, but perhaps has really gone through a pretty major reinvention in its recent history. So who were you, where are you now, and how is it different?
Thanks for creating the link, and thank you for this moment together. It's obviously an honor to be speaking just afterwards Maud and Sofitel, another very important French brand. And Club Med is indeed a brand that has been lasting for a very long time. We are celebrating this year the 75th anniversary of Club Med. And Club Med, back in the 50s, was the company that created the concept of all-inclusive holidays, which we have tried to continue, develop, innovate, and grow over the past 75 years. And you're right to mention that for the past 20 years, Club Med has probably been through the most important strategic change of the hospitality industry, with a complete move upscale of our offer. Over the past 20 years, we closed 75% of our properties, which couldn't be moving upscale, and we opened 40 exceptional new properties and renovated the rest. So this complete change of strategy is unique, I believe, in the hospitality and makes us today extremely strong player in the leisure hospitality, in the holiday sector, and this is a worldwide positioning for us.
And I think it's interesting kind of aligning that with where we've been going across the GCC, where I think this is a very similar trajectory that we've been seeing. Now, we talked about where you guys started. This is not welcome back if you're looking to move into the GCC. I believe you were in Sharjah back in the day, and this is something which kind of is a continuation of a long history here. But what we've seen in Saudi, what we've seen in other countries within the GCC is this idea of how can we start matching experience with luxury, with that kind of authenticity and experience in the region. How is that aligning with the vision that you have as you move forward on Club Med?
If we tie back this question to the theme of the day, which is the Gen Z and luxury, when you Googled or ChatGPT the Gen Z population, it's a population which is really in between, because it's people from 12 to 28-year-olds, which in fact, most of the time in the luxury hospitality or leisure are not paying. These people are not paying. But they are being a pain if you don't do something that is good for them, or they don't join their parents for holidays. So that's exactly here what we have to create, which is, if you want to bring this Gen Z, if you want them to go with their parents, if you want these family holidays, you need to create something that will attract them. There needs to be something. There needs to be activity. There needs to be ambience. There needs to be things to discover. And that's an important segment of the market, because these families who have kids between 12 and 28-year-olds are the ones who have the biggest means. So they are the ones who can travel in luxury, leisure, hospitality.
So looking at Gen Z, and you got exactly where I was about to go, I think, which is this idea of, yes, we're giving them that experiential and that rich look which matches perhaps more traditional travel of older generations with the new piece, but they are also, hopefully, your consumer of tomorrow. So as we look at building them for today, that family experience, that authenticity, all of those different aspects, how does that kind of build into how you see your distribution, your pipeline, your guest generation building now and building in the future?
for this generation and then the family traveling is something that doesn't start on day one when you arrive in a place. You need to create excitement within your family members to decide to purchase a family holiday. And this excitement, you need to be speaking to the guests. So that's why for resort business, we do really think that it is extremely important to have as strong a direct distribution as you can, so that you can speak to the guests when they start planning their holiday trip. And you can speak to the family, and you can speak to the kids. So that's the reason why for Club Med over the past 20 years, we have decided not to work with OTAs, to remain on a pure direct or intermediated distribution, where today we sell 75% of our stays directly to the guests. And this is not only in our home country, which is France, which is only 30% of our clientele today, but this is in China, this is in Asia, this is in the US, this is in Brazil. We speak directly to the guests, because this is the way to have all the family together come to the understanding of what you are offering. And this is the way to bring the guest to the destination. So the way we see what we could bring to this part of the world and to Saudi in the development that they are looking at right now is bringing these guests. You need to be going to these family guests in the world, in Asia, in China, in France, in Europe. You need to be going to these family guests in Saudi, and you need to have teams, sales teams, that can explain to them that when they will come, they will have the cultural experience, they will have the natural experience, which is a given in Saudi, but they will have fun, they will have something happening, and they will not just end up in a hotel that is a standstill place where you can be sure that Gen Z is never going to have a good time. So that's this full integrated system that makes it possible.
In terms of, one of the conversations we have most often here in Saudi is, where are our guests going to come from in the future? How do they look different? Our traditional guests, maybe if you look at Dubai, demographics are very different. Looking to the east, looking to India, looking to Asia, how do you see a difference on what those kind of families are looking for, and what kind of the younger generations in those families are looking for when they come for a Club Med experience, compared to perhaps your old school, more traditional guests?
So that's the time to speak about luxury and all-inclusive. What I can tell you is that all the families in the world, obviously they have different patterns, but what is sure is that they are all aiming eventually at the same direction, which is making sure that within the family, everybody is going to have a great time, making sure that you build family memories, and these family memories, you build them with emotional moments. So that's the full cycle. Now, the question is, how do you create this? You create this with removing any difficulties along the path. And that's what we've been advocating for the past 20 years, and which is now starting to have its audience in the market, which is all-inclusive is not only a bargain for money. That was all-inclusive 20 years ago. It is some all-inclusive today in the market. But all-inclusive can be a way of life, can be a luxury way of life where you bring out any inconveniences from your holidays so that the family, the Gen Z, the parents, the grandparents are concentrated on one thing, which is spending time together, having emotions together, and bringing back memories, and potentially more than memories, which is stronger bonds together. So that's
it's amazing, and I think that's the thing I certainly see with Gen Z is this idea of efficacy and access and the diversity of offerings they have in so many different parts of their lives, and looking at what we can do in Saudi and how we find the right partners and operators to be able to start showcasing that in a way that's digestible, I think is really essential. So for you, what you're looking at Saudi, you're starting to think about this as an interesting destination. Obviously, we're perhaps one of the most family-friendly destinations in the world from a safety perspective, from a cultural perspective. What's next for you here? How are you going to get those Gen Zers to be coming to our shores?
What we're doing here, and we've been doing for the past few months, is trying to find the best spot, the best site that would match Club Med history and heritage. Club Med brand has been known forever to be positioned in the best places in the world, in the best sites in the world, in the best destination in the world. We've opened a lot of what are today the most international and successful tourism destination in the world. What we want is contribute to the story of Saudi. What we want is the best site to do so, and we're very picky on this, so trying to find the best place. And we're progressing on this. And once we have this site, we will bring to this place the best leisure offer for families, local here and outside. And what I know and I can tell is Club Med, in a way, operation is self-sustainable. So we can set in a place where there is nothing else. We don't need infrastructure. We need a Club Med. Once this will be done, the day we open, the place will be full. That's the way we operate. We bring the clientele, we bring the concept, and we even bring the front office staff, which we call the GOs, the gentle organizer. So that's what we intend to bring to this part of the world. And we're excited about it. I must say we are very excited about it.
Greg, thank you so much. You know, what I take away from I think this experience and our conversations, it's really a little bit of a different approach. So much of what we've been, I think, building in Saudi has been this frontier experience, and being able to start building these family integrated moments. And, you know, I think the audience might have been expecting something a little bit different with Gen Z, but it really is this family dynamic and how we make sure that they become the returning customers for Club Med, for Saudi in the future, that really is a bit of a different offering and a bit of a special sauce. So thank you so much for giving us an insight into how that goes. And inshallah, we'll have lots of Gen Z visitors on our Saudi shores at a Club Med in the near future. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you so much. Thank you.